Good. All right, go on to the questions.
Coach, first of all, congratulations on AFC North champion.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Was the ride in a little different today, knowing that you got one of your significant milestones accomplished?
Well, it felt good to know that we were in the playoffs. I think that's the feeling. But like any week in this league, you got to quickly move on and start getting ready for Cleveland. So that's where our attention's been today.
Thank you.
Zach, do you have an update on Quinton Spain? Do you expect him to be able to play? Is it a significant injury?
It's an ankle sprain. I don't anticipate him to be ready this weekend. But I hopefully it wouldn't be much longer after that.
Coach, I know it's only Monday, but how are you going to balance this game against Cleveland with knowing that in all likelihood you'll have a playoff game the following week, that you won't have the bye even with a win? Do you consider resting some starters or guys that have little nicks?
Those are things we'll have to talk through. It's still early in the week, so we haven't had to have those conversations yet. But certainly things we need to. If guys have some bumps and bruises, it's better off making sure that they get healthy. That's something we have to talk through. What our approach is going to be.
Do you expect Joe Burrow to be available on, or do you want him playing Sunday?
I don't know that I'd be able to answer that about any player at this moment.
How much would the game against the Chiefs maybe affect that? That gets on Saturday now. Knowing a little bit clearly, there's a chance you'll know whether you can or can't have the 1 seed. Would that be something that would affect it at the final hour?
I think any time you're getting ready to play, you want to make sure your players that are going to play in the game have that mindset all week and are preparing themselves to play. So, a Saturday night game and then making that decision that night or the next morning, it seems a little too close to kick off.
So it's something you'd want to almost take the next couple of days and maybe by Wednesday have an idea, at least in-house?
But yeah, we've spent this morning wrapping up this last game and starting our preliminary talks on Cleveland. So we haven't gotten too deep in any conversations like this yet.
How is Joe?
Joe's good. He seems to be in a good mindset right now. I'm happy that we won.
Coach, was there when you got home, was there a special moment you shared, if comfortable talking about it, a special moment you shared with your wife and your kids? Yeah, sure. Well,
I raced out of here, to be honest with you. My son had a basketball game at 5:00. So I maybe had a couple of legal maneuvers going down whatever to get to the church he was playing at. So I got there about 5:40. They were coming out of the half, and I went and put the division champs hat on him on the bench. And then we went home and just sat on the couch and watched football with my wife and the rest of the family. So it was a pretty good night for the Taylor household. It was a fun day.
Thank you.
Any of your guys
applause when he walked in the gym?
I probably got a little more attention than I normally do. It was good. Everybody was enjoying the win. And, so the coach after the game showed me a video of everybody at the gym watching the game on the big screen, an hour before, and the reaction. So, it was a great moment, just not only for the people in this building, but for the entire city. You could see the enthusiasm just from the few amount of people that I came across yesterday afternoon. It was an enjoyable day.
Did your son win his game?
They did. Yeah. He had an assist to our next door neighbor in overtime, that clinched the game for him. So pretty cool to be able to see.
How big did you
I've got a hypothetical, which I know coaches love hypothetical questions, but the 4th and goal yesterday when they had the illegal hands to the face on Tyler Boyd, if that's a touchdown and you still get the penalty, do you take the points off the board and still continue with that plan to try to milk as much of the clock as possible? Is that even a thought?
I haven't had that thought. I haven't gone through that hypothetical. It's an interesting question. I think you'd have I don't know that there's a right answer. I think you have a hard time wiping 7 points off the board, and knowing that our defense has been playing well in that half, or you're just basically kicking shorter than an extra point with no time left. So, maybe someday we'll have to encounter that situation, but I don't have to make that decision sitting right here right now.
Zach,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
How big did you think Von Bell's play on Tyreek Hill was when you went back and watched the film? And when you went back and watched the film, what really stood out to you about the play of your defense in the second half to limit them to just 3 points?
Sure. I think that play was enormous. That kept points off the board and a little bit of momentum for them going into halftime. You know, whether they had scored on the next play or kicked a field goal, whatever it was, that was a tremendous play by Vaughn to be in position there with an elite receiver down the field and then knock the ball out at the last second. Because we had just kicked a field goal, and then we were obviously anticipating coming out in the second half and scoring again to get a 10-point swing there. So it was big to stop their momentum, help us regain the momentum in the second half. And I think overall on defense, I think we knew that they're going to make plays. That's what they do. They're really good at it. We had to be good tacklers yesterday, and I think ultimately when we got our opportunities in space, the guys did a great job with their angles. They did a great job getting the ball carriers down on the ground and just minimizing just some of the explosiveness that they've encountered. And, I think that the defense overall did a great job. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are two of the best playmakers in football. And one of our objectives was to make sure we limit their production as best we could. And I thought our defenders did a really good job of that.
Zach, a couple of injury adjacent questions for you. Can you describe what's going on with Evan McPherson and kind of what his status is as he kind of y'all get ready for this game?
Evan's good. Yeah, he kicked all day yesterday, and he's good to go.
Joe and Evan kind of detailed that he's dealing with anything. Is there anything physical that would prevent him from playing?
No. If anything, he had tightness a little bit, but it didn't affect how he played yesterday.
And then also, can you walk us through kind of the process and protocol with Jermaine Pratt and kind of how that played out and why he wasn't available for Sunday?
Yep. So he hadn't cleared the 5-day window yet. So the 5-day window would clear on Monday. If he were to test negative on Sunday morning, we had to have made that activation on Saturday. You can't do that on Sunday. So we had to do it. We had the 7th inactive spot to use. So it was ultimately just activate him on Saturday. If he tests negative on Sunday, which he had no negative tests up to that point, but if he tests negative on Sunday morning, they would then give him a second test, an hour later. And if he cleared that as well, then we would be able to have him in the game, and then we'd have to make somebody else inactive. If he didn't clear and he was positive as he was on Sunday morning, we just made him that 7th inactive spot. So he cleared today. Today was his 6th day, so now he's good to be back in the building and going around. So that's how that worked. That's happened around the league a couple times in the recent weeks. Where people activate a guy and so everyone thinks they're playing, but in reality, it's just hey, what if he tests negative tomorrow? You have to make that move on Saturday per the protocols.
Zach, I'm curious what your experience in 2018 with the Rams and Sean, how that might influence not only how you handle the last game going into Cleveland, but going forward in the playoffs, what your message to your team might be because of it.
Sure. Those are things that we're still walking through. But you're right. I've got that experience in that area. In 2018, we were in a very similar situation where you're discussing how much the potential seed matter as opposed to making sure guys are healthy and ready to go for the playoff run. So those are just decisions we'll have to make. Haven't talked in depth about it yet and haven't made anything. And it is a divisional game, versus a team that beat us early in the year. And so that's in the back of your mind as well. But again, we'll see how that scenario plays out as the week goes.
With Jamar, how has he evolved this season, and how has your perspective on how to maximize his talent evolved this season?
I don't know that he's really evolved. I think he's been pretty consistent over the course of the season. We've shown him a lot of one-on-one balls, and he's made those plays. Joe's obviously always had the confidence in him from the get-go. So it's hard to say that I've seen great involvement from him. I think what I am happy to see is the consistency that he's had. I think as a rookie, he came in and worked in training camp. He established his routine in September, October. Troy Walters did a great job, I think, assisting with that and keeping him consistent with his approach. And he's maintained that throughout. He doesn't okay, now I've arrived, I've had this many yards, this many touchdowns. Let's pull back on the routine a little bit. It hasn't been that way at all. And that's been the entirety of the receiver room, not just Jamar. And so I think that's why you've seen the consistent production from those guys here in December and January, because their routine has remained unchanged. They've been pros, even though they're relatively young players. And it's allowed us to have the production that we've had when their numbers called.
Zach, I've heard some speculation that maybe the quarterback sneaks were not designed to get in, but instead were meant to take some more time off the clock. Was that the case, and was it a consideration?
No, it wasn't. We felt like if we had an opportunity to score a touchdown, we needed to score a touchdown. I think the comments that would have been made, I know because I made them, were there's no need to reach the ball across the goal line. If you look back 3 weeks ago when the Chargers played the Chiefs, they extended the ball and a quarterback sneak across the goal line. The ball got knocked out of his hands, and it took 7 points off the board. And so on a 1st and goal and a 2nd and goal, particularly even on the 3rd and 1 that Mixon had to get us to the 1 yard line, the coaching points that we made were there's no need to extend the ball across the goal line here. Mixon can still get the 1st down. And Mixon does a great job of finishing through the goal line with his body. He is not one that extends the ball. He does an excellent job of maintaining that. He really sets the standard there. But just as a reminder, this isn't game on the line. You can still get the 1st down at the 1 yard line. And then for Joe, hey, we're going to call quarterback sneak on 1st and 2nd down. And but again, there's no need to reach the ball above the pile and reenact what happened 2 weeks ago when they knocked the ball out, stole some points from them. So that was it. But I promise you, we were trying to get in the end zone when we could, and it really worked in our favor. Obviously, that we didn't, but that wasn't the plan.
Zach, Joe has, I think it's 971 yards, 8 touchdowns, no turnovers over the past couple of weeks. And if you look at the past 5 to 6 weeks, the numbers are still crazy, and he's been playing really well. Is this the best any quarterback has played that you've coached during any stretch?
So it's certainly up there. I mean, it's he's put us in a tremendous position. And the last year with Jared, he made the Pro Bowl and we went to the Super Bowl. So he did the things that needed to be done for us to get to those opportunities. So it's hard. I hate to compare that type of stuff. But certainly happy that Joe has played the way that he's played and put us in this position.
Zach, I don't think a lot of people have talked about Trey Flowers and what he did on Travis Kelce for a good part of yesterday. And the fact that he came in to this team midway through the season, what does that speak to his ability to impact the team?
That's a great question. I mean, he's got game experience. He played for a number of years there in Seattle in a prominent role. He's come in here and really fit with our group. Had a great special teams tackle on kickoff yesterday. And again, we've asked him to play that role where sometimes he's inside as a zoning defender, other times he's matched up on tight end type bodies. And, he covered, he's covered Kittle a little bit in that game, made a great tackle, on a 3rd down and did a nice job yesterday in some situations, causing a breakup, getting him on the ground. And so, again, everyone's got a role to play. It doesn't matter if you play 5 snaps or 80 snaps. Every role is critical, and he did a nice job in his role yesterday.
Obviously, the goal was to control Hill and Kelce, and you did. The byproduct was that they were able to run it for 150 yards because the box was not loaded. You can't do both. Take that trade-off every day?
Yesterday I would have. Yeah, they're going to make plays. They've done a tremendous job drafting, building that team, adding guys in free agency. They've really been the standard the last couple of years. And so expecting to win that game with a shutout was probably a little bit unrealistic. They're going to have their moments where they're productive. We just got to bow up in those critical situations. And, the zero blitz was a great call by Lou at the end of the game. It was really the last defensive play of the game. We zeroed them. The guys did a great job handling the route combinations. And the free hitters got home to put pressure on Mahomes and held him to a field goal there and allowed our offense to go eat up that last 6 minutes and go win the game.
Zach, a lot of people commented on your on you and TB's kind of hugging each other whenever that happened. What was running through your mind as he kind of grabbed you and you were kind of going through those moments?
Yeah, we did it. It was you certainly imagine that situation. We expected to win the game. We have a lot of confidence in our team. So it was just, kind of, all right, we finally did it. We clinched the division without any help. We went and took it in week 17 and not have to wait to week 18 to get the win or need help or any of that stuff. That's not how we wanted to do it. That's not the way you draw it up. And so just happy in that moment, of happy for the guys, the coaches, the city, really happy that we got to do it at home, because the stadium was rocking by far and away. The best environment I've been a part of here. And so, you really look at, we haven't the last 2 years given the stadium a whole lot to cheer for, reasons to be packed. And so this year, for the fans to show up the way that they did, support us in that moment, carry us to that moment, and then them get to enjoy it firsthand and not just on TV, I think was really, really cool experience for all of us. And I'm excited for everybody involved in it.
I might be making something out of nothing here, but the message you've given is go out and take the division yesterday. I didn't see the Ravens score on the out-of-town scoreboard, and they were showing scores across the league yesterday. Are those two things connected, and was that intentional?
Not from me. I don't think I've ever noticed the scoreboard all season, to be honest with you. Half the time I can't even find what the score is of our own game. I never know where to look, and I always get flustered when I'm trying to find that. But so that honest answer has nothing to do with anything from our side of it.
2 minutes.
Coach, 1 minute you're walking up to the podium with a beautiful suit on, handed the keys to this franchise. Yesterday you walk up to that same podium as AFC North champion. Just talk about that perspective and feeling.
Yeah, a lot of work's gone into it, and no shortcuts, no easy way to the top. We had the number 1 pick in the draft after our first year of coaching, and so essentially you're when you have the first pick, we all know what that means. And so for these players to have bought in, for the organization to have the patience and the belief that we're going to get it right and that they believe in the vision that we have, supporting us, communicating with us, everyone being on the same page. And the players who have been here through it all, believing and helping us continue to raise the standard and provide the leadership that we needed. And then the guys who have come in over the last year or two, adding to that and just jumping right in seamlessly and hitting the ground running, players and coaches, just speaks to what this organization is all about. And, where we're at now, we still have a lot to accomplish this season. And we certainly feel like we're built strong for the future as well.
Thank you.
Did you get to talk to Mike Brown after the game? And if so, what was his reaction?
He's very happy. I'm very happy for Mike. He's here as much as we are. He's probably here more days of the year than we are, to be honest with you, counting the off season. And all he cares about is bringing a winner to this city and supporting the people around him. And so, that's one of the first people you think about when you win a game like this, is the support that he's had for all of us. How much it means to him and the rest of the family. And so, I don't always talk to him immediately after the game, but that was one I certainly wanted to go, say congratulations to him after that game.
One last one. Any more? All right, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Okay. Thank you. You bet.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.